think as a youth growing up, I think most kids probably have an interest in being a fireman or being a police officer. I think they go through a stage there, and I probably went through it too. I don't remember very much about that, but the thing that got me started in law enforcement was in Shoshone, Idaho. I was out with a youth group, and there was some guys that were drinking and carrying on, and a police officer did come down to see what was going on. These guys have been pretty loud. They've been playing with fireworks, and they were urinating, and there's young girls in the park that day, and we're just playing some volleyball and just having fun. And the officer came down there, and he tried to talk to him. They basically disgraced the officer and run him off, and basically humiliated him in front of the public. And he went to the office and was really upset. But I went over and talked to the guys and explained the situation with the young people and stuff. That I wasn't threatening, or I didn't want to be that way. Just explained to them that wasn't acceptable behavior with young kids in public, and they left. But the next day, the mayor got a hold of me and offered me a job, and basically that's how I got started in law enforcement. I worked in that department for a while, worked my way up to chief of police, and got involved in ministries and got involved in missions. And we had a weightlifting gym at the time, and I ended up leaving law enforcement, went to the gym, and from there I had the opportunity that I could go do overseas missions and short-term ministries, and got more involved in that. Then it got to the point where I wanted to do full-time, and when the full-time came, we sat down and we talked as to where we'd go, and a lady came and interviewed us to come to Kentucky and talk to my kids and everybody, and just asked if I talked to my wife, and it just what would you guys be interested in? And I said, well, the way I feel is wherever you send me, that's where I'll go. I'll spend the rest of my life. And no missions really make that commitment, but ministry usually doesn't start until the third or fourth year. The people that go into ministry usually leave before it actually gets a chance to start. But when they sent me, I came to Jackson County, Kentucky, and came in here working with high-risk youth and addicts, and that's kind of what got started in the community. From there, anytime you work with high-risk youth or addicts, it leads you into working in the family setting. And then after working with the families and stuff, it just kind of led to more and more. I got into the community more. I wasn't born and raised here, which is kind of a closed community. People don't just come and go here. Either you're born and raised here, or you usually have some kind of reason to be here through marriage or through a relationship of being here. But as we came in and times were changing, I was learning more about the community, and I was looking at it as being an oppressed community, because there's a lot of federal money and stuff coming in here, but there was nothing to show for it. Businesses, there was no business here. Here, there was no opportunities for kids. And when a child grows up and graduates school, he basically has to leave and go someplace else for employment. There is no employment for him here, and times is getting worse. We're over 20% unemployment right now. And the people came to me, and they had learned that I had been in law enforcement before, and they were concerned about the corruption here. And I kind of ran, just not full-heartedly the first time, and got a lot of votes that they couldn't understand how come this guy's an outsider and got votes. Well, the next time I prayed about it, I knew what the situation would entail in the future, and I knew what was going to happen, and I asked God to take it from me. I'd rather do something else, but I won the next election and beat a sheriff that had been sitting for 3 terms, and it was also one that started out here. And I was the first person to ever be elected that wasn't born and raised here. Then coming into office, I was up against a lot, because I wasn't going along with the thing I ran on was the corruption, and to go after the corruption and try and take care of the drug situation that we have here. Without the jobs, basically it's the hopelessness that was falling on this community, and you can almost feel the oppression when you come in here. That that's the drug culture is alive and well here, and so we started working on that. But I came in with a different attitude rather than just bust them all and try to scare them into some need to go to jail, some need counseling, some are just victims of the environment. And I tried to do, if I could just change our community one addict at a time, and I found that there was more good in that than there was any other way. started working that way once I came in, but then I came up against, I told them that when I ran, there was a sleeping giant in our community here. And that sleeping giant is the majority of the people that won't speak up because they're afraid of retaliation against law enforcement, against the good old boys. Either you do it this way. It's kind of a bully system and a pecking order. So that was one of the things I was up against. I had to make a decision after getting me into office. And when I came into office, there was all the computers were crashed. There wasn't as much as a paperclip in the place. And it was very hard to get started. It was right in the middle of the tax season. But we were up and running right away. And I guess my first big thing I came against that I had to make a big decision on was one of my magistrates, which a magistrate from the physical court controls my budget. We have 3 magistrates. They vote on my budget. They can make me or break me. And one of them had been involved in a crime and had been arrested. And they wanted to stay at the state level. They say, listen, just work with us. He's one of your bosses. Just do a day served. You go ahead and let him plead guilty. Do a day served, and walk out. I thought about that. It wasn't right, because if anybody else would have done the same crime, they would have hammered them. And so I went ahead and I talked to the federal people. He had a federal indictment because of just the information that we had. And the guy ends up being arrested, going in on that day to plead guilty and to walk away like he had in the past. That day he was not allowed to. That day he was arrested by the federal agents and taken off to do federal time. And that sent a wave through the community as, this guy's going to do the right thing. Well, it's easy to do the right thing, but it's hard to live with it sometimes. They've made it very hard on me to live with that situation. Right after that's when they fixed my budget to where they started pushing more stuff over my budget than it could handle. Basically ran my budget over. Anytime you're over a budget like that, they use that as a point that they could do not like an executive order, but emergency takeover of my budget. And by doing that, they held all my money, so unable to pay my guys. And they started their own department and basically moved all my equipment, everything over there for their department. What they failed to tell the people was that was going to cost them over $400,000 to do that. They failed to tell the people that they were still having to pay my department. They're still having to pay us, which is just me, and I have a office girl who is now sworn in as a special deputy so she can help me serve papers. I've got another guy that's working in my office now doing special investigations, mostly white collar, looking into the corruption. Take a pick. We've got all kinds of areas. Anytime you dump this much federal money into a place, you get people that run for office and they're in there for 20 years, you're going to find corruption. People that come in that don't have so much when they come in, but they have a whole lot when they go out, and I know the kind of money they made. It's stuff like that needs to be looked into. Now the audits are coming out, and they have probably never had anybody pull the audits out and show what kind of things are happening to the money and where it's going, how it's being misused. And that's the kind of stuff that we're up against. And the biggest thing here that I see now is the people are the victims. You say, boy, Denny, they've done you bad. No, Denny hasn't been really done all that bad, because I've got pretty thick skin, and as long as I know that I'm in the right and it's all in the truth, I can ride that ride. But the real victims of this are the people of Jackson County. They voted for somebody, and because the good old boys didn't like who they voted for, then they didn't try to get along. They tried to make it rough and to get him out, which is me. But as long as we keep trying to keep doing what's right, I have people in my office every day come in and say, "Man, lay right with them, pour it on them," because they know that wall's going to come down. We just have to keep chipping at it, keep working at it, and it's just only thing I ever wanted out of this is that the truth comes out. The truth is that these people have been lied to and misled. All the money that comes in here doesn't ever filter down to the people. The lake that they promised, it's not here. All the things that they promised, the jobs, it never comes. But the money does. And I think once we start looking into it more, I think we're going to have a better idea of what's happened here. I'm looking back at audits and stuff from as far back as 1989 and trying to get a grasp on, the way things are going. So we're just going to keep at it and keep going. I'm a sheriff that just wants what's right for the people. I think that I came to this community to serve the people here, and that's exactly what I'm still doing. I first asked God to, give me a heart for these people, and it was very easy to have a heart for them. They're just real loving people. But when God gave me His heart for these people, it was a totally different story. It's just all about serving the people here in Jackson County in this capacity.